One day you'll wish you started now. Procrastination is the silent assassin of success. Every dream you've delayed is a seed you've refused to water. Action, right now, is the only bridge between desire and achievement. Don't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. One day you'll beg for the chance you already have today. So take it. 1. Procrastination is the enemy of progress. 2. Success begins the moment you take the first step. 3. Waiting for perfection leads to permanent inaction. 4. Time lost can never be regained. Start now. 5. Your future self is begging you to begin today. Procrastination is the enemy of progress, and yet it's the most common habit that silently creeps into our lives, convincing us that tomorrow will always be there, that there's plenty of time, and that the perfect moment to begin is just around the corner. But I tell you now, there is no greater lie we tell ourselves than "I'll start later." Every moment you delay, you lose ground that could have moved you closer to your dreams, your goals, your purpose. Progress never comes to the man who waits for inspiration or convenience, because those two things rarely appear at the same time. Life does not reward those who are passive, hesitant, or unsure. It rewards the man who moves forward with boldness even in the face of fear. Think about it. How many dreams have you seen die not because they were impossible, but because someone waited too long to pursue them? How many times have you seen someone filled with talent, potential, and ideas, and yet they remain stuck in place, paralyzed by doubt or distracted by comfort? Procrastination is not just a delay, it's a thief. It steals your time, your energy, your clarity, your ambition. It steals the power you were born with to shape your destiny. While you're busy making excuses, someone else with fewer resources, less talent, and far more problems is out there making progress, step by step, because they decided that now was better than never. They didn't wait for things to be perfect. They acted in faith, in courage, in purpose. And that's the truth about progress. It doesn't require perfection, just persistence. It doesn't ask for certainty, just commitment. You'll never know exactly how things will turn out, and that's okay. The man who moves forward without all the answers is often the one who finds them along the way. But the one who stands still, waiting for every light to turn green, every condition to be ideal, every fear to vanish, that man remains right where he is, growing older, but not wiser, dreaming bigger, but achieving nothing. If you continue to wait for the right time, you'll eventually run out of time altogether. One day, and I mean this sincerely, you'll look back and wonder how your life might have turned out if only you'd started when the idea first lit that fire in your mind. You'll wish you had taken that first uncomfortable step. You'll wish you had trusted your instincts, believed in your vision, and ignored the voices that told you to wait. The pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. And regret, my friend, is a burden no man should carry into the later years of his life. If you've got a dream, a calling, a mission, something inside of you that keeps whispering, "Start now," you owe it to yourself and to the world to act on it. Because procrastination isn't just a personal failure. It's a missed opportunity to serve, to create, to inspire, to contribute. Every day you wait is a day lost in which you could have become stronger, wiser, closer to who you're meant to be. So break the habit now. Tear down the excuses. Silence the doubts. Get up. Start moving, even if it's slow, even if it's messy. Progress is progress, and you can't improve what hasn't begun. The world doesn't need more people waiting. It needs more people doing. You have something special in you. You have greatness within you, but that greatness will never see the light of day if you keep pushing it off until tomorrow. Start today, not next week, not when you feel more confident, not when the stars align. Today, right now, because one day you'll either celebrate this moment or mourn it. The choice is yours, and the clock is ticking. Success begins the moment you take the first step, not when everything is figured out, not when you feel completely ready, and certainly not when the world gives you permission, but the very moment you decide to move, to act, to break the stillness that has kept you from becoming the person you know you were meant to be. You see, the beginning is not about brilliance, it's about bravery. It's about having the guts to look your fears in the face and take action anyway. Far too many people wait around for some divine sign, a magical push, a stroke of luck to ignite their journey, but real success doesn't work like that. It doesn't arrive in a flash of lightning or a thunderous call it whispers, gently, quietly, in those small moments when you decide, I'm doing this now, one step. That's all it takes to change the course of your life. One brave decision to rise instead of stay still, to move instead of hesitate, to build instead of dream. The road to any goal is always paved with imperfect actions, failed attempts, and course corrections, but none of those can happen until you begin. It doesn't matter how small your first step is. It only matters that it's forward, because momentum, once created, becomes a force. It picks up speed. It generates belief. And with each move, even the tiniest one, you start to see a new version of yourself emerge, not the one who only thought about success, but the one who's actually doing something about it. Every master was once a beginner. Every empire started with a single brick. Every legacy was once a lonely choice to try. The first step might not be glamorous. In fact, it rarely is. It might come with confusion, discomfort, doubt, or even ridicule from those who can't see your vision. But don't let that stop you. Those who laugh now will one day marvel at your persistence. Success doesn't demand applause in the beginning. It demands action. You can't improve something that hasn't started. You can't win a race you never ran. You can't grow a dream that's never planted. And make no mistake, the first step plants the seed. From that seed grows everything: the lessons, the experience, the strength, the clarity. The answers you're waiting on won't appear before you move. They show up after you begin. That's why the most successful people aren't the ones who had it all mapped out. They're the ones who dared to start without certainty. They stepped out in faith, in belief, in the fire of desire that refused to be extinguished. They knew that even stumbling forward was better than standing still in comfort. The truth is, waiting never brings you closer to what you want. Thinking, overanalyzing, and dreaming don't replace the power of doing. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step, and the next one will come into view. Life rewards the movers, the doers, the ones who are willing to fail forward instead of sitting safely on the sidelines. You won't learn what works until you try. You won't develop strength until you struggle. You won't build confidence until you prove to yourself that you're capable, and every bit of that begins when you move. Stop convincing yourself that you're not ready. Ready is a myth. No one feels ready before a leap. That feeling comes after you jump and realize you can fly. Action teaches you more than any book, any podcast, any motivational speech. It puts you in the game, it teaches you the terrain, it hardens your will, and suddenly, what felt impossible starts to feel like destiny. The journey might be long, sure, and filled with challenges, but none of that should discourage you, because each obstacle you face only sharpens you for the victories ahead. And those victories, they would have never come without that single moment of courage when you chose to begin. You don't need approval. You don't need perfection. You don't need all the answers. You just need to take that first step with conviction. Do it scared, do it unsure, do it imperfectly, but do it, because once you do, the world begins to respond. Doors open, opportunities arise, people take notice, and more importantly, you begin to believe in yourself on a deeper level. You begin to see your own strength in action. Success doesn't come overnight, but it starts in an instant. The instant you decide you're done waiting, that you're done wishing, that you're done preparing to live and ready to actually live. So don't underestimate the power of a beginning. Don't dismiss the significance of that first move. That small step might look ordinary, but it holds extraordinary power. It says to the universe, to yourself, and to anyone watching, I'm serious, I'm here, I'm going after it. And that declaration alone starts to shift things. You'll stumble, sure, you'll get frustrated. You'll question yourself at times, but every step, every misstep, every effort adds up. And before you know it, you'll look back and be amazed at how far you've come, all because you decided to start. So if you're waiting for the right time, stop. The right time is now, this moment, this breath, this heartbeat. Start with what you have from where you are and take one step forward. That's where success lives. Not in some distant, perfect future, but right here in the bold decision to begin. Waiting for perfection leads to permanent inaction, and that truth has paralyzed more dreams than failure ever could, because while failure at least involves trying, perfectionism disguises fear as logic. It whispers that conditions must be just right, that you must be fully prepared, that every detail must be flawless before you take a single step. And so you wait and wait and wait, until one day you look back and realize that your whole life has been spent on pause. Perfection is a myth, a trap, an illusion that keeps men and women spinning in circles, polishing plans, preparing endlessly, all while the world moves on without them. And the saddest part is that deep down many know that perfection isn't real, but they still cling to it because it gives them an excuse not to act, not to risk, not to be vulnerable. But let me tell you something, the most successful people in history, the inventors, the leaders, the pioneers, they didn't wait for everything to be perfect. They started with what they had, made countless mistakes, learned from them, and adjusted along the way. You don't need perfect conditions. You need a burning desire, a willingness to start, and the courage to keep going when things get messy. In fact, it's the messy moments, the awkward beginnings, the imperfect first drafts that shape your character and sharpen your skills. You learn by doing, not by waiting. You grow by struggling, not by stalling. If you keep postponing your journey until everything lines up, you'll miss the very process that prepares you for success. Starting before you're ready forces you to adapt, to get resourceful, to develop grit and resilience. And these qualities are far more valuable than anything perfection could offer. The world doesn't reward those who dream of flawless execution. It rewards those who show up, take action, and persist, even when things go sideways. So many people sit on incredible ideas, beautiful talents, and powerful visions, but they never make it out into the world because they're waiting for the right time, the perfect moment, the ideal setup. But life doesn't work that way. There is no magic moment when the stars align and all your fears vanish. You'll never feel completely ready, and that's okay because readiness isn't a feeling. It's a decision. It's when you say to yourself, I may not have all the answers, but I've got enough heart to begin. And that is more than enough. The truth is, perfection is a form of fear in disguise, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. But here's the secret. No one who ever accomplished anything meaningful did it perfectly. They stumbled, they doubted, they improvised, they fell down and got back up. They looked foolish at times, but they moved, and that movement made all the difference. It's far better to take imperfect action than to remain frozen by unrealistic expectations. Think about how many books were never written, how many businesses were never launched, how many relationships were never pursued, all because someone thought they had to have it all figured out first. The graveyard is full of untapped potential buried beneath the weight of almost ready. If you keep waiting for perfection, your dreams will die in the womb of hesitation. And someday you'll look back with regret, wishing you had started when the spark was fresh, when the vision was alive, when the fire was hot. But you waited and it went cold. Don't let that happen. Embrace the chaos. Accept the mess. Understand that greatness is born in the furnace of trial and error. Your first step doesn't need to be flawless. It just needs to be forward. You'll never regret moving toward your dream, but you will regret standing still. Start now with trembling hands if you must. Speak with a shaky voice. Build with whatever tools you've got. Because motion beats meditation, action beats analysis, and progress beats perfection every single time. You're not supposed to have it all figured out. That's the point of the journey, to grow, to learn, to evolve. The clarity you seek only comes after you move. It meets you on the path, not at the starting line. The most powerful breakthroughs come when you take the leap and figure it out midair. So stop holding back. Stop rewriting your plans for the 10th time. Stop comparing yourself to people who are 5 chapters ahead in their story. You have your own path, and the only way to walk it is to begin. Perfection is an illusion that keeps you from discovering your real strength, the kind that only shows up when you push through uncertainty and keep going anyway. Let go of the fantasy, let go of the fear, let go of the lie that everything has to be just right. Life doesn't wait, and neither should you. The clock is ticking, and your dream is calling. Will you answer, or will you let it ring until it fades away? Your future self is watching, hoping, pleading that you'll stop chasing perfection and start chasing purpose. Remember, the pursuit of perfection ends in disappointment, but the pursuit of progress leads to fulfillment. Choose progress, choose courage, choose to begin not someday but today, because every moment you wait for perfect is a moment you lose forever, and once it's gone, you can't get it back. Time lost can never be regained, and that's the most sobering truth most people try to ignore as they move through life pretending there will always be another chance, another day, another season to do what they were meant to do. But the clock never stops, and every second that slips away is second you'll never see again, never touch again, never use again, no matter how much money, motivation, or regret you gather down the line. The danger of delaying your dreams is that time doesn't wait, not for the hesitant, not for the ambitious, not for the confused. It keeps moving forward with or without your permission, and if you don't match its pace with purposeful action, you'll find yourself left behind, watching others live the life you once envisioned for yourself. Far too many people treat time like an endless resource, spending it carelessly on distractions, doubts, or fear, telling themselves they'll get serious later, they'll start tomorrow, they'll commit when things settle down. But life doesn't promise you more time, and one day you'll wake up. Realize that someday never came. That window of opportunity you assumed would always be open slowly closes while you're busy procrastinating, second, guessing, or giving your energy to things that don't matter. The truth is, every day you delay the pursuit of your purpose is a day you deny yourself the growth, the wisdom, and the reward that come with the journey, and more painfully, it's a day you rob from the future version of yourself, the one who depended on you to take action when it mattered most. People often ask, is it too late to start? But the real question should be, how much more time am I willing to waste? Because the longer you wait, the heavier the regret grows, and unlike time, regret doesn't fade, it festers, it echoes, and it haunts. You see, time is the only currency we spend every moment without even noticing, and once it's gone, no apology or ambition can bring it back. You can always earn more money, you can rebuild a broken reputation, you can mend a relationship, but you can never rewind the clock and relive a missed opportunity. That's why you must treat time with reverence, with urgency, with a relentless hunger to make the most of it. You've got dreams inside of you, visions that have been burning quietly in the background, and if you don't give them life today, you risk burying them forever. Think about the countless people who once stood where you stand now, young, full of energy, full of ambition, but who waited too long, hesitated too often, and now live with the weight of what if pressing down on their shoulders. Don't let that be your story. Don't let time slip through your fingers while you plan, while you wish, while you wait. The road to success, to fulfillment, to impact, it's not found in perfect timing. It's found in bold decisions taken when the clock is ticking loudest. You won't always feel ready. The path won't always be clear, but time favors the bold, not the perfect. It favors the committed, not the cautious. If you feel something stirring in your soul, an idea, a calling, a purpose, start now. Use what you have where you are and take the next step, because once this moment is gone, it's gone. You can't trade in comfort today for success tomorrow unless you act. Too many people are spectators in their own lives, watching days pass, watching opportunities fade, watching others rise, all while saying, "I'll try tomorrow." But tomorrow is nothing more than a gamble. All you have is today, this very minute, this very breath. So ask yourself, what are you doing with the time you've been given? Are you building? Are you growing? Are you moving, even slowly, toward the life you know you're capable of living? Or are you sitting still, convincing yourself that the future is guaranteed because it's not? Time doesn't pause for your doubts. It doesn't slow down for your fears. It doesn't stop because you're uncertain. It just keeps ticking, and if you don't move with it, you'll wake up one day in a body that's older, in a mind filled with memories of things you never dared to do, and wonder how it all slipped away so fast. You owe it to yourself to treat time like gold, like fire, like something sacred, not in a way that breeds panic, but in a way that demands focus and respect. Use your mornings wisely, guard your evenings. Cut the distractions, let go of the excuses, replace scrolling with studying, replace complaining with building, replace hesitation with action, and let every single day be a brick laid in the foundation of your legacy. Your time is your most valuable asset. Spend it on things that grow you, on goals that stretch you, on people who inspire you, on habits that empower you. Because one day, no matter who you are, your time will run out, and the only question left will be, did I use it well? Will you look back with pride, knowing you squeezed every drop out of your potential? Or will you look back with tears in your eyes, whispering the words no man ever wants to say, "I wish I had started sooner"? Don't wait for that pain to teach you what you already know. Start now, use now, honor now, because time lost can never be regained, but time used with purpose can build a life that echoes long after you're gone. The longer you wait, the heavier the regret becomes, and the truth is, regret isn't something that shows up all at once like a lightning bolt. It creeps in quietly, slowly, silently, showing up in the little pauses when you're alone with your thoughts, in the sighs you can't quite explain, in hollow feeling that something is missing even when everything seems fine on the surface, and it grows louder each time you see someone else doing the very thing you once dreamed of, not because they were better, but because they started. Regret doesn't scream, it whispers, and its voice gets sharper with every missed opportunity, with every day you talked yourself out of taking the leap, with every moment you chose comfort over courage. You may think you're just waiting for the right time, but what you're really doing is borrowing pain from the future, because eventually that unused potential turns into disappointment, and that disappointment turns into resentment, not at others, but at yourself. And that's the most dangerous kind of regret, the kind you can't blame on anyone else, the kind you carry like a shadow, knowing deep down you could have done more, been more, lived more, if only you had acted when the idea was fresh and your heart was willing. You see, the cost of inaction is invisible at first, and that's why it's so deceptive. One missed day turns into a missed week, then a missed month, then suddenly a whole year has gone by and nothing's changed. You still feel the pull of that dream, but now it's buried beneath layers of doubt and excuses, and worst of all, the belief that maybe it's too late. But it's not too late, unless you keep telling yourself that. The real tragedy isn't failure. It's the silence that follows a dream abandoned too early. People walk through life wearing smiles while carrying invisible backpacks full of what-ifs and I should-haves, and that weight is far heavier than the weight of effort or discipline ever could be. You were born with a purpose, with a unique combination of talents, passions, and ideas that no one else on this planet has, and to sit on that, to delay that, to hide that because of fear or doubt or other people's opinions, that's not just a waste, that's a betrayal of the very gift of life itself. You owe it to yourself to try to begin, to explore the path that keeps calling your name, not because success is guaranteed, but because regret is. And here's the thing. Every single person who has ever achieved something worthwhile once stood exactly where you are now, staring at the unknown, questioning themselves, unsure of the outcome, but they stepped forward anyway. That first step is what separates the fulfilled from the frustrated. You don't need to see the entire path. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to trust yourself enough to take that first action, however small it may be. Because the moment you start, momentum begins to build, confidence grows, clarity comes, and even if you stumble, you're still moving forward, still learning, still growing. Unlike the version of you that stays stuck in hesitation, there's a version of you in the future that's stronger, wiser, and more fulfilled. But you'll never meet that version if you keep putting off what you know you need to do. Imagine 10 years from now, looking back and realizing that today was the day you could have changed everything, but instead you let fear win. That thought alone should shake you into action, because the pain of discipline, of failure, of effort, that pain fades. But the pain of regret, that one lingers and it deepens over time. You don't want to be the person who talks about what they almost did, what they thought about doing, or what they would have done if things were different. No. Be the person who took the shot, who tried, who lived fully and unapologetically, even if it didn't always work out perfectly. Because that kind of life, the kind where you give your all, where you chase your vision with urgency and intention, that life is rich and meaningful and deeply satisfying. You were not meant to coast through life, numbed by distractions, waiting for motivation to strike. You were meant to create, to lead, to build, to love, to risk. That's where fulfillment lives. And every day you delay, every hour you waste, you're moving further from that purpose and closer to the sting of regret. So stop pretending you have forever. Stop acting like your time is unlimited. Start now. Start messy. Start scared. Just start, because no matter how small your step is today, it's still one more step away from regret and one step closer to the life you were always meant to live.